help the Muslim. He will not be a burden on the Muslim. He will be able to help the Muslim. Allahu Akbar. Father is saying this to Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. The Sunnah at the same time, he is standing on his toes. He wants to show Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam bigger than what he is in reality. Permission is granted, and there's a smile on the face of Sayyidina Rafi radiallahu ta'ala anhu. Samara is looking at all this. He is listening to this. He cannot tolerate that he has been deprived of this great honor, that he has been deprived of elevating the flag of Islam, of elevating the kalima la ilaha illallah. He goes crying to his father, "Oh Bayan, Rafi has received permission from Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Oh Bayan, I am more stronger than Rafi. I can beat Rafi. I can wrestle him to the ground. Why is it that Rafi has received permission and I have not received permission?" Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is informed. Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is informed. The child has been given an opportunity to prove his claim. A wrestling match is held. Allahu Akbar. This child, Samra, says to Rafi, "Oh Rafi, you have received the permission of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. You have received the key to Jannah. You have got the opportunity to elevate the kalima la ilaha illallah. Do not be the cause of my deprivation. Do not deprive me for the key of Jannah. Do not deprive me from entering the Jannah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala." The wrestling match begins. Down goes Rafi, and there's a smile on Samra's face. The permission has been granted to Samra, just like it was being granted to Rafi. Look at the passion and look at our passion. We are intoxicated with our desires. We are mustaghraq in our shahwat. Just after fulfilling our shahwat. Look at these youngsters. They were younger than you and I. Wahb ibn Qabus is a shepherd. He comes from his village in the desert to visit Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam in Medina. He has with him his nephew, and he has with him his goat tied to a rope. He comes to Medina. He reaches Medina and he finds Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam has left for Hajj. Look at the pattern. He has come to visit Rasulullah. He does not find Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. He learns Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is in a Hajj. Without hesitation, without informing his mother or father, without informing his family, he immediately goes towards Uhud. At the time, an enemy group was attacking Rasulullah. Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam exclaimed, "Whoever takes care of this enemy, he will be my sati, he will be my companion in Jannah." Without hesitation, Wahb ibn Qabus rushes towards the enemy. He takes care of the enemy single-handed. Another group comes, Wahb ibn Qabus takes care of them. A third group comes, Wahb ibn Qabus takes care of them. A fourth group comes, Wahb ibn Qabus takes care of them. Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam congratulates him. Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam gives him good tidings of Jannah. When he hears the good tidings of Jannah from Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he does not want to delay his entry to the Jannah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He rushes towards the enemy line and fights till he's martyred. The great Muslim general s.a.w radiallahu ta'ala anhu says, "I have never seen a Muslim fight as bravely and fiercely like I saw Wahb ibn Qabus radiallahu ta'ala anhu fight." I saw Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam standing next to his martyr's body, saying, "Oh Wahab, you have pleased me. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala be pleased with you." He says, Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, though he himself was wounded in this battle, Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam himself buried Sayyidina Wahb ibn Qabus radiallahu ta'ala anhu. Umar says, "I have never envied anybody as I've envied Wahb ibn Qabus, because Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam with his blessed hand buried Wahb ibn Qabus radiallahu ta'ala anhu." Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is exhorting the Sahaba radiallahu ta'ala anhu ajma'in to elevate the kalima la ilaha illallah. "O my Sahaba, rise up and race with one another, compete with one another for a Jannah which is as wide as the heavens and the earth, only prepared for the muttaqeen, only prepared for those who fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala." Umair is listening to this. He says, "Buk, how wonderful." Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam asked, "Oh Umair, what do you mean by this?" He says, "Ya Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, I want to be from one of those for whom this Jannah has been prepared." Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam says, "Umair, do not worry, rest assured, you are from one of these for whom this Jannah has been prepared." Allahu Akbar. At the time, he has a bag of dates. He takes out some dates. He begins to eat these dates. When all of a sudden, my brother, he is eating, he throws away these dates and he says, to wait till these dates are finished will be too long. I cannot wait for the Jannah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for that long. My brother, he jumps into the enemy line. He jumps into the jaws of death till he is no more. This was the passion that they had for this date. It is the battle of Yamama. Ammar ibn Yasir is covered in blood. His ear is cut off. It is hanging by the skin only. It is dangling. He is standing on a rock and he is saying to the Muslims, "Amin al-Jannati tafirrun, ya ma'ashar al-Muslimin, Amin al-Jannati tafirrun, ana Ammar ibn Yasir, qulumnu ilayya." Oh my Muslim brothers, are you running from the Jannah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Where are you going? Jannah is towards me. Come, I am Ammar ibn Yasir. Come, I will take you to the Jannah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And his head is covered with blood. This was the passion that they had for the Deen of RasulAllah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. That they were prepared to sacrifice their deen to sacrifice their life for this deen of RasulAllah s.w.t. Whenever they were required, for whatever they were required, they presented their life for the deen of RasulAllah s.w.t. You will see their passion, and you will see their devotion, and you will see their love for this deen in their very prayers. The kuffar are taken Sayyidina Khubayb radiallahu ta'ala anhu to the gallows. He's about to part from this world because the kuffar are about to execute him. The kuffar are about to sever his head from his body. He's in his last throes and they ask him to make his last wish. You and I will be probably concerned about our family. We will be concerned about our mother and father. We will be concerned about our young ones. Look at his request. He says to the kuffar, "O kuffar, let me offer 2 rakats. Let me offer 2 rakats because the time has come for me to meet my Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala." He offers the 2 rakats very calmly, very collectively. And then he says to the kuffar, "O kuffar, if it was not that you begin to fear, if it was not that you would think that I fear death, then I would have offered another 2 rakats. Just to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala." This is when he's in his last throes. He's about to leave from this world. Abbad ibn Bishr is offering salah. An enemy scout makes him out from a distance. Arrows are piercing his body one after the other. He is covered in blood, but he does not break his salah because of the pleasure that he is receiving and the happiness and joy that he is getting from his salah. This was their passion. This was their devotion. And this was the love that they had for the deen of RasulAllah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Look at us today.